under 29 U.S.C. Article 163. In particular, the field of research and engineering by vesting its overall direction and control of the Secretary of Defense, provide more effective, efficient, and economical administration in the Department of Defense, to provide unified strategic direction of the combatant forces for the operation under unified command, and in their integration into efficient team of land, naval, and air force applications, but not to establish a single chief of staff over the armed forces or an overall armed forces general staff. The Ashore class submarine 9 miles out into U.S. waters. The Admiral Kreshkov sitting just outside of Venezuela, 279 Brazilian, 279 destroyer class shipping vessels, Chinese based outside of Brazil, 26 atmospheric bombers, as well as the Breshkov and the biggest radon field in the U.S. Now, to ask a question, Section 101, 50 U.S.C. 402. There here is to establish a council be known as the National Security Council, thereafter in the section referred to as the Council. Also noted as UN Article 1, Article 3 under UN Order 2628, UN Article 71269. In the view of the Human Harvester, or 46 of the documents known in Mar-a-Lago, the live dispatch between the United Nations, myself, the patent application for the atomic nuclear warhead, and the design efficiency using the patent database for the Intercontinental ICBM in correlation to the DF-17 are also known as Project Red Snow. The most efficient ICBM nuclear weapon development or atomic biological chemical weapon development. The President of the United States shall preside over the meeting of the Council, provided that in his absence he may designate a member of the Council to proceed in his place. We will note that the Vice President at the time of this concern, after the invasion of North Korea, that the Secretary General noted during this hearing is the Vice President of Argentina. This Vice President in Argentina is also noted as the Secretary General in the IAEA hearing based on Miss Thomas Greenfield's confirmation hearing in the time of the Senate and in the House. The function of the Council shall be advised that the President, with respect to the integration of domestic, foreign, the foreign would be the question, did you invade or not invade? Ted Lieu's executive order requesting him not to be identified and to go over as secretary or ambassador to North Korea to validify the invasional application because the video had not released to the U.S. waters. The video only became public November 3rd in the U.S. How far is this away from it might have been October 26th instead of November 3rd, depending on the election. And military policies relating to national security so as to enable the military services and other departments and agencies of the government to cooperate more effectively in matters involving national security. In this view, the appointment of Carol Barrett, the appointment of Marcus Milley, do not comprehend military services. In the view of the state, the military service is not that of the office of the Supreme Court. In the view, the Council is not identified as the chairman of the National Security Resource Board and mutual integration. The director of mutual security. Is mutual security that of foreign policy and foreign affairs? In the application, such applications that the Assistant to the President of National Security Affairs, who should serve as the chairperson of the committee, such other members as the President may designate. We will identify that as Mark Meadows, William Barr. We will identify this as questions to the COVID czar, Bradley Henry, and the application in K&L at the time. Joint Intelligence Community Council. In the view of advising the director, an establishment requires developing budget, financial management, monitoring, and evaluating the performance of the intelligence community on such other matters as the director may request, and ensuring the timely execution of programs, policies, and derivatives established by the director. Meetings. The Director of National Intelligence shall convene regular meetings with the Joint Intelligence Community Council. Would this be asking the Secretary of Defense to present at the United Nations? What about what the president says with the invasion and then the acting invasion when he does it in view of what he stated at the United Nations? For this response, we will identify that being the assassination of the chairwoman of the Ways and Means Commission in view of an open question to the foreign government. Now the responsibilities of the National Intelligence Director. Mr. Wolf, you are not this person in view. Heads the agencies, the departments, and the executive branch. Access to intelligence. Mr. Wolf, unless otherwise directed by the President, the Director of National Intelligence has access to all national intelligence and intelligence related to national security, which is collected by the federal department, agency, or other entity. The other entity, right here, in Barton v. Barr, and Boyd v. Thayer, and Trump v. the ACC, would be the question to the Cuban government compared to the question to the Mexican government in view of Tijuana's countryhood compared to Barbosa based on the other entity. The other entity being the right of the Baron of Essex instead of his rulership of the territorial region based on birthright known as Barbosa based on British law, what is proven in the Magna Carta. Excerpts are otherwise provided by law. By law, are we defining American or British law in the view of the state, or as Russian law as well? This would not be the issues that we have with China in their foreign policy to their application of territories. Chinese see territories as different. In FCC v. McConnell, it has been over 50 years since the United States has taken an active vote in the small islands Guam, Haiti, Puerto Rico, and Washington, D.C. for statehood of another state, or as appropriate under guidelines agreed upon by the Attorney General and the Director of National Intelligence. We will show that be the national security concern at right around the time of the riot and the view of an electrical fence in view of the border wall. This wouldn't be the questioning of the patent for the design compared to the uses of the hydrocore program based on the application of property. Now, this wouldn't be questions to the Military Defense or the Military Waters Act in view of domestic national security. If the Military Waters Act, which is identified in procedure, this would be questionable application in view of who? Mark Milley and his relationship to myself. This isn't identified in this provision, also known as S. 1970 Clean Water for Military Families Act, identified again by a Democrat, not a Republican, and the question based on the defense program. The State Water Resource Control Board, also identifying in the Clean Water Act or the Clean Water for Military Family Act, is not a concern based on the production of this act based on model assessment. Now, there are questions on that based on non-third world country. If we are non-third world country, the Clean Water Act established the basic structure for regulating discharge of pollutants into the waters of the United States and regulating quality standards for surface waters. A hydro turbine with a solar panel on top of it isn't an electrical generation company based on challenges to this act. Now, an Octagon 8 wind turbines, 1,000 solar panels in the middle, 2 Van de Graaff reactors, and vacuum pump salt water while producing 1.65 to 1.83 kilowatts, or takes 10 gallons of renewable or of salt water with 1.583 kilowatts to double boil, or 1 gallon, make 1 gallon of renewable drinking water for every salt water in comparison. This would not be a national security concern to third world countries in the view of crypto modeling compared to the interest rate based on questionable wonderments of act of God based on fire, tornado, or hurricane seasons. This is not a concern if you're using atomic nuclear weapons based on model assessment. Now, why would we be concerned about that? Under 91 SAT 1566, Federal Water Pollution Control Act would identify these questions compared to businesses. Now, if this is under to the Safe Drinking Water Act, you are not identifying this in times of emergency management based on county or statehoods that are going through issues of federal emergency management. This is not identifying congressional delegation of goals and policies, 33 USC 1251. This would be the same way as identifying the declaration of goals. What would be asking third world countries at the UN if they wanted infrastructure? What is asking at the state level for new states? Hello, James Carter, you are too disabled to see an open vote in the House and the Senate for a new state. Barack Hussein Obama, you are too disabled to see an open call for a new state in the House or Senate. William James Clinton, you are too disabled to see an open claims in view of the state. William Robin Preston Gates Bush, you are too disabled to want a new state roll call in view of the House and the Senate. But this would not have a exemplary model assessment in view of the valuation or the issue in Trump v. the Water Resource Board and Trump v. Hawaii. Now, under U.S. Title 33, Navigation of Navigable Waterways, these are not land leasing rights based on oil compared to applications of allowing county jurisdiction changes in Bush v. Gore. Now, if these are the same model assessments in Bird Cannon, this is not a national security concern based on applied integration models. Now, this wouldn't matter at all if you were wondering that from, hi, I'm a ultra-conservative, white male supremacies. The fill material in 33 USC 1344 is not that of the vote in Bush v. Gore, but more importantly, in third world application, renewable electricity or water. These are not the permits of fill material based on the valuation of the corporation. We would identify this as his tax returns. What happens if in Wolf v. Acting Secretary v. the U.S. and Trump v. the NCAC P-Board, the radio transcript of his alarm company based on the Brooklyn Naval Yard, where your brothers are identified as well as the rest of the prime ministers in the TV channel where him and his wife say hello to you. But that wouldn't be the office of the 38th President of the United States and the issue. That radio, LLNV-NYC, has only been available 11 months, 15 days based on this declaration. the U.S. Supreme Court case Trump v. the NCCP board. Now, why would this matter if this was wondered? Nationwide permits issued by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The Army Corps of Engineers do not identify new statehoods based on model assessments. The Army does not identify it as the volunteer militia, same way as the Immigration Act is wondered under the Hatch-Brown Act, in view of illegal immigrants. What would be this wonderment instead of territories of the United States to population assessment, also known as questions to Dick Durbin during open communication?